Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video. Wife might have cheated. Is this enough evidence? My wife, 31 female, and I, 33 male, have been married for 6 years and have known each other for 8 years. First, thank you for taking the time to read this. But please bear with me as I haven't slept well in the previous few days and my mind has been racing like crazy. My wife went on this business vacation to Europe with a few colleagues. They were all sleeping at a hotel for the first couple of days, and even though she had extremely busy days, she always FaceTimed me at the end of the day. Everything seemed to be okay. They relocated to a new location on the third day, 2 days ago, to work on a large project with other local employees. Because the day was difficult, she didn't write me much. She texted me 4 hours later, at 11 p.m., their time, saying she's heading to the sauna with her female roommate. Let's call her V. She's from overseas. The sauna is located in the complex where they are living, and it is a normal practice in the nation. But considering their long day, it's much too late for that. She then emails me 2:30 hours later at 1:30 a.m., stating I'm going to sleep, write you when I wake up, love you, and I respond. No mention of being weary, of being unable to make a call, of what she had been doing for the previous 2:30 I'm not controlling. It's simply something she usually conveys. It seemed chilly, distant, and out of character. And I had a nasty gut feeling. My gut emotions are typically correct, and I don't ignore them. I had a horrible feeling the whole trip for reasons I'll describe later. But nothing that truly tingled my spidey senses until now. So I had to figure out what was going on. She had left her laptop at home, which syncs messages, so I could watch events unfold in real time. She had a conversation with this man, let's call him K. She sent him a message at the same moment she sent me a message, and it was just one emoji. A heart with a band-aid? I'd never seen the emoji before and had no idea what it represents. I had left my laptop open while getting ready for bed, and holy duck, there was a message from my wife stating, "Come to room 3." My heart is beating like crazy at this moment. I'm yelling. I'm sobbing. I'm upset because, despite my suspicions, my wife was the last person on the planet I expected to do anything like this. I'd been cheated on a couple of times in a previous relationship, and I learned to identify the kind. My wife was the polar opposite, or she's just good at concealing it. So I'm going through all of these situations in my thoughts. Maybe room 3 is different, and they're going to party with other people a little more. But why write just K? Maybe he's going through something and needs to vent. Perhaps she's inviting K to V's room, the roommate. But why didn't V write K in the first place? What would K do with V if my wife was in the room? Apart from any kinky stuff. Is my wife even sharing a room with V? She informed me she was a week before she departed, but they may have switched. While my thoughts are racing, I see that K's message has not been delivered. Perhaps he doesn't have a battery. K writes going there an hour later. The message is left unread. So I'm guessing she's sleeping and he'll knock on the door before returning to write her back. But the message remains unread for the next 7 hours, during which I push myself to stay awake, since it's the only way I'll be able to see anything happen. Then in real time, I witness the whole post being removed. At this point, the few plausible options I had in my thoughts have vanished. 1 hour later, my wife emails another employee to let him know she has K's phone. K and my wife don't write to each other all day. Now the reason I had a horrible feeling the whole trip was because my wife, a buddy, and I had gone out for drinks a few weeks before and met her colleagues. I'd met a handful of them before, but never K. I'd only heard of K in passing, and I don't believe she even works directly with him, which explained why I'd always hear a lot more about the other employees. We go to this pub, we're dancing and K has something in his hand that my wife teasingly removes from him and puts in her pocket. That's when I got my first gut instinct. She is behaving quite differently towards this colleague than she does with everyone else. We all walk outside, and I'm chatting to someone else as she talks to K. She's so near that she accidentally brushes his arm for 2 seconds too long. They hugged a few minutes later. I'm irritated because she's been overworked, going out with her colleagues, and expressing minimal love towards me all week, but she's doing it to this man. When we go home, I tell them I'm going to sleep on the couch. She exaggerates things, how dare you, puts her belongings in a bag, and claims she's heading to a hotel. It's too late, and no hotel would check her in, so I tell her to go ahead. She walks away, but don't hear. The downstairs door is shut. She forgot to bring her iPad, on which she was signed onto Instagram. I'm not proud of it again, but I had to see what was going on. I saw a post where she was planning a drink with another man she hadn't seen in years, but it didn't seem suspicious, a fake. They've always just been friends. And then I watch it getting removed in real time, and I become very up on it, missing other threads being deleted that I didn't have time to read. I texted her about these plans since I was inebriated. She first claims that he is just interested in seeing her acquaintance. That's a lie, I told her. Then she claims they didn't make any arrangements. I informed her that I had seen the texts. She continues to deny it, never claiming that it's just a buddy or whatever. Then she goes back to, "How dare you question me?" followed by, "I'm so pressured at work. I'm sorry I'm not enough. I can't be everything to everyone." I tell her that if she thinks I've misinterpreted anything, she can come upstairs and we can clear it up. She arrives, but once again refuses to clarify or acknowledge anything, and the conversation is all about how she isn't enough. She sobbed uncontrollably. I felt horrible, so I slept close to her. We don't speak about it again since both of our weeks were fairly busy, but we make plans to do so when she returns. We went on dates and had fantastic sex in the last few days before she departed. I saw some mildly flirtatious text from both sides regarding her sleeping on his shoulder on the aircraft in the messaging thread with Kay. No way they got adjacent seats due to how the check-in works, so they had to purposefully move. Although, given that all employees spent a significant amount of time together in person, it's understandable that there isn't much more in that thread. I waited for her to write / call me when she arrived at the hotel yesterday. I know since I found my iPhone. After a half-hour delay, I texted her to see if she was still person. It's understandable that there isn't much more in that thread. I waited for her to write / call me when she arrived at the hotel yesterday. I know since I found my iPhone. After a half-hour delay, I texted her to see if she was still person. It's understandable that there isn't much more in that thread. Out since I was going to be. She phones to say she's just gotten to her room. Her neck is red all the way down to between her breasts. I can see it because of what she's wearing. Like when we're making out and my beard is short and rubs on her skin. I inquire about it with her. She seems astonished, as if she didn't know, and tells me it was most likely her scarf. However, this is plainly just on one side and extends down deeper than a scarf would. I didn't want to push any further since I don't want her to think I'm too interested in her. I still need hard evidence. We spoke for an hour, but she was a little cranky. Unlike other days when she comes into the room and quickly begins getting ready for bed, she has pretty much the same routine always. Except for putting on pajamas, she seemed to be putting off getting ready for bed. So I keep hesitating, waiting to see whether Kay would write her or if she will write back. Then I inquire about the sauna. She said she barely got in since it was so crowded. Then I question her about additional things, and they don't seem to match. I'd been up for more than 36 hours at this time, so I was recording the conversation in order to make sense of it afterwards. We hung up the phone. I eventually fell asleep. Sleeping has never felt better. I awoke this morning. There were no texts exchanged between Kay and my wife. A few hours later, she FaceTimes me. "I'll write you whenever I can," she replies, apart from a short check-in. If I don't, it's because there's a lot going on and it's difficult to balance being here and being there. It's not because I'm doing something else, as you would imagine. Thank you, thank you, thank you for making it this far. My mind has been racing these past few days. There's so much I'm not sure of, but divorce has been on my mind at all times. We intended to purchase a home and have a child the following year. Even if nothing else occurred, she breached my confidence by saying she was going to sleep, and then invited Kay to her room. Even if that hadn't occurred, she abused my trust by establishing a deeper friendship with Kay over my objections. She is jeopardizing both her profession. I'm sure her employees are suspicious by now and her relationship. And I can't live the rest of my life looking at everything as a possible sign of cheating. She had 2 symmetrical spot bruises on her thighs that I only noticed a couple of days after she went out with her coworkers, that she couldn't explain and I certainly didn't cause, or feeling compelled to snoop. But at the same time, I believe there is insufficient proof for a divorce. Because our accounts are segregated for logistical reasons that would take too long to describe, it's not that straightforward. Her name is on the automobile. I can't simply threaten or talk divorce with her because I'm worried she'll relocate the money and I'll have to start again. And in the end, I'm heartbroken because I love her so much. She is my soulmate and the love of my life. But I also have the impression that the person I care about is no longer present. It just took a few days. I'm at a loss on what to do next. What if I'm mistaken? Edit 1. She's suddenly being quite flirty with me through text message. She hasn't been this happy in weeks. Edit 2. I neglected to note that she's been working